Welcome to the Two Ton Nerds. As always, my name is Max James. It is October 1st, 2018, which means it's day one of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 7. Now, as you've seen, the movie of the day is Night of the Living Dead, directed by the late, great, the horror master, the godfather of the modern zombie movie, George A. Romero. I've been trying to rectify a lot of things for this year. I've been trying to put movies on this list I've never seen before, which I like to do. Um, what else do I've been trying to do? Add movies on this year's list that have been new installments of previous movies I've talked about. Um, Clowns, zombies, strippers, giant ants, witches. I've been trying to just run the gambit and add everything to this list, and I do, and I just cannot wait to get to the final 3 days, because the final 3 days is going to be a lot of fun as well, because I bought one of those big compilation DVDs that has like 20 movies for like $5, and so I wrote all the movies down, put them in the lunch pail, and then when the 29th and 30th and 31st days roll around, I'm just gonna just pick them right out of the lunch pail, and that's the movies I'll be watching. So I just kind of leaving it up to chance. So that's what I've been trying to do with this list, and I think with Night of the Living Dead, I wanted to talk about what hasn't already been talked about, which is my personal experience with it, because this movie's been talked to death about everything. But I have this on this channel. I have this thing called Movie Mature, where I would talk about movies that I watched as a kid and reevaluate what I've watched. Case in point, Jaws, where when I was a kid, I just wanted to watch the shark scenes. I could care less about the dialogue or the characters. But now, as an adult, I've learned to appreciate the Indianapolis speech, which is now to me the best part in the movie. But of course, I love the shark parts. But I come to like the dialogue, the interactions between all the characters. Those are what makes this movie perfect. So, which is why I wanted to talk about Night of the Living Dead, because when I originally watched it, it didn't jump out at me. It didn't do nothing. It compared to Jason and Freddy and uh, the Leprechaun and Chucky, the horror greats, even the other like Reanimator and stuff like that. It just didn't jump out at me. And when I know the dawn and day are after it, it just didn't. It just pales in comparison to the others, the future installments. But as I got older, I rewatched it, and I learned to appreciate this movie much more than I have ever had, because I learned how the movie got made, um, learned why they did what they did, learned some like trivia about the movie, and just me growing up just learned to appreciate the movie as a whole much more. So, with all that said, let me tell you what you need to know about this movie. And first up is the plot. The plot of the movie basically just follows people living in the world, living in this new world where zombies have risen up and started eating people. And in this particular case, they're kind of stuck on this piece of farmland with a bunch of people who are scared, mean, and just plain lost it because they watched their brother get killed. Because this movie has a very iconic opening, you know, when it's like, he's coming to get you, Barbara, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's see, even that scene, I learned to appreciate that, because it just like, okay, he's being stupid, but now I like, that's iconic. So, but and then they just kind of have to survive, and they end up just tearing themselves apart because they're imploding from the inside, because they just can't handle this world, or they're making stupid decisions. So, next up is the gore. The gore is actually really good, even though it's shot in black and white. It gives you the sense of like what's up here and what you're seeing on screen is much worse, because you see intestines and stuff like that, but you don't see the collar because it's shot in black and white. So you're putting the collar mentally in there, and it's like it's making it much worse than it ever has. So that's why the gore is really good because it's like all up here. The scare factor. There, I don't think there truly is a scare factor right now, but back then, yes. It's like kind of like with The Exorcist. The Exorcist is, I mean, it's still scary, but when it first came out, it was brand new. It really truly scared the hell out of people. So, and I think this is because they actually show people eating human organs, and so that's why the scare factor is much more prominent back then than it is now. Now it's just like, yeah, it's eating somebody. At least in my take. So it does have a scare factor. But now, my review, my rating. I'm just going to jump to the end. It's a horror classic, but for if you're new to this channel, I do have like a review timeline or a review. How are you going to call it? Like star rating, basically. One is a best watch with the group. No, forgot it. It's been a while since I've actually had to use this rating. One is just your run-of-the-mill horror movie. It adds nothing new to the horror genre. It's just plain horror. Two is best watch with the group, where this is where like the movies like Birdemic and stuff like that. Like it's just huge cheese factor. Then three is like more than average horror, but adds nothing new to the horror genre. Four adds something new to the horror genre, and five being a horror classic. And we know that Night of the Living Dead is obviously a horror classic. So, that's really all I gotta do for this day one. I thought I would do something a little different this year and talk about my personal experience with this particular movie, but I'll get back to more traditional review style in the following weeks. So, as always, my name is Max James, coming from a new location down in the basement, and I'm going to go geek out.